Well, hi there. Good evening and welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. Today we're going to be doing a look back at a classic rock album from a band formed in the early 70s, a much known about band, a band that had a bit of a different way of doing things than a lot of your classic rock bands. They were bombastic, they were showmen. They did lots of different things that you just never seen bands do at that time. They were kind of an original band in a lot of ways. And yes, I'm talking about this band, Kiss, and this album, which is their self-titled debut album, released on February the 18th, 1974, produced by Kenny Kerner and Richie Weiss. The studio was at the Bell Sound Studio in New York City. The album's about 35 minutes in length, which was pretty standard for an album back then. This photo was taken by Joel Brodsky, who actually did quite a few of the Doors, if not all of the Doors albums as well. So it's a little bit reminiscent of Beatle type look to them. Not that they look anything like the Beatles, but that kind of album type cover. And they were on Casablanca label. Okay, so their debut album, this featured this band, Gene Simmons here. Get my hand right. That's Gene Simmons, and we got Ace Frehley up here in the corner. Beside Gene on the other side is Peter Criss, whose makeup was done by a professional. It's the one and only time you'll see his makeup like this. Actually, if you look at all of their makeup on there, it's a little bit different than it became standardized later. And then, of course, Paul Stanley in the top corner here. Okay. So, anyways, Paul Stanley was a rhythm guitarist and vocalist. Ace Frehley, lead guitarist, did backing vocals, but didn't sing any songs on this album. Gene Simmons was the bass player and lead vocalist as well, and Peter Criss played the drums and was the other vocalist. So three of them sang. Ace Frehley sang later on one of the later albums. I think it was Love Gun was their start. So the band came out. They were bombastic. They immediately set up as if they were a huge band. That's the modus operandi they put out there, and they acted different than any other band on stage. Gene Simmons, I think, much maligned for a lot of things about him, but you cannot take away the fact that if he didn't do the things he did, the outrageous things he did on stage, the spitting blood, the breathing fire, the whole magnus opus of his abilities, all out there being larger than life and bombastic, maybe they wouldn't have made it, So kudos to him for that. So Kiss, of course, of Peter Criss. Oh, I already said all this, so we'll skip that part. Anyway, so the album has 10 tracks on it, and I will say right up front that most of the tracks that are on here are fairly stable in their concerts. Like a lot of their concerts feature a lot of the songs off this album. However, the definitive tracks from this album are on the Alive album. They were just that much better on the Alive album than they were on the original. The quality on here is a little weak, but that doesn't take away from the songs. The songs are great. They have several of their big hits on here, as far as I'm saying, as far as it being stable releases for them in their concerts. There's a few songs on here I just don't get, but the Lump Fiend from Kiss, Kiss in Time, not great tracks. But the rest of the songs are pretty solid. Almost every one of these is on Kiss Alive. Many, like I said, are featured in their concerts as stables. Paul starts the album out with Strutter, really good track. It was one of my favorite Kiss songs early on. Then you have Nothing to Lose, which I think features Gene and Peter Criss on vocals. Firehouse, another Paul Stanley. Cool Gin, sung by Gene Simmons, written by Ace Frehley. Let Me Know, a decent enough song, but it's not one of the ones that made the live cut, so I don't know as much about it as the others. Deuce, of course, for initially for their first 2 or 3 years in concert before they got to the Destroyer album, was the main song that they started out their concert with. The explosions and Gene Simmons coming out singing this song. Big song. Really good song. 100,000 Years, that's the one that Peter did his drum solo on the live. And then a Black Diamond with Peter doing his vocal part on this song, one of his best vocals, I think. I actually like this album quite a bit, even though the quality isn't as good as the Alive album, and the songs aren't live, so they don't have that high energy output that they do. They're still pretty decent songs even on this album. So for a pretty good debut album for a band, the cover I think is pretty neat. I like it quite a bit. I don't think they did as well initially because radio stations weren't so quick to give them any kind of airplay. They had to build their reputation by touring and playing live, which at that point in time they were one of the best live bands in the world. And anyways, it's a very good album. If you want to start out listening to Kiss, you haven't listened to Kiss, you're younger, you never heard of them, you've been on the moon or whatever. This is a good start. Work your way from one album to the next. They progress and get better as it goes along, and I love it. So there you have it, Kiss, the debut album from 1974. And I'll be doing some more look back albums this week and a few other things. I'm going to be doing a top 10 songs of the rock band Van Halen at some point in the next few days. I'll also be doing a top 10 bass players, rock bass players, of course, because I don't really know much about other genres bass players. I'm sure that jazz and that has plenty of good ones, but for me, I'm just going to stick to the rock, which is what I know. So that will come out at some point in the next few days as well. And we'll see what's going to happen at some point in the next few days. Anyways, I wish you belated Merry Christmas and have a great day. So if you like the video, like at the bottom, and subscribe if you want me to do more of this kind of material. And we will talk to you later, and have a great night. So Prog Monster out. Bye.